Hello users, welcome to the show. Today we're going to start things off with a question from the NEM005 who asks, "Where's the show today? I was really expecting a show today. Epic fail." Thank you, the NEM. That leads directly into what I was about to talk about today, which is the last 3 days of my life. I would like to first preface this story by saying the Canadian healthcare system rocks. About a month ago, I woke up in the middle of the night with a pain in my stomach. It was more of a pressure than a pain, but I went to the doctors just in case to see what was going on. They didn't really tell me much. They pretty much just took my blood, told me I wasn't gonna die, and sent me on my way. I've been experiencing this pain pressure for about a month now, and finally decided to go to another doctor and get it checked out for real. So I called my parents on Wednesday and had them make a doctor's appointment for me back home. For all those people that say that socialized medicine doesn't work, you're wrong. I called on Wednesday to make an appointment at a doctor's. By Friday, I had 2 doctor's appointments that I had to choose from. I went to one of them. Within that day, I was in the hospital. I saw a surgeon. He referred me to go get an ultrasound. The ultrasound didn't really reveal anything, so we moved on to a CT scan, which basically involves hooking up a IV needle to your hand. You can see my holes, I've got a lot of them. 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 hole. There's the 4th one. Basically my right arm took a big beating on Friday. Back to the CT scan. So, I've got an IV sticking out of my hand, it kinda hurts. They put me on the bed, they hook up this thing to the needle in my arm, and they say, "Okay, Mr. Myers, we're about to inject you with some radioactive dye. It's going to show up on the CT scan so we can see what's going on inside of you. Are you ready?" Yeah, sure. I've got this needle in my arm. What could get much worse, right? It's gonna be all right, right? Well, some of the people that have had CAT scans in the past have noticed a odd tingling sensation, or possibly a warm sensation throughout their body. Some people have noticed odd taste in their mouth. But if that's okay with you, we'll start the test now. Oh, that's just fine. I can deal with some tingling and maybe a bit of heat. That's fine. But what they didn't warn me about was the searing pain that was about to surge through my hand. Because you see, they have a machine that injects the dye into your hand. It's not a slow process. Basically, they inject you very quickly with this dye, and it hurts a lot. After the test was done, I was a bit disoriented and shaky. But all in all, I was fine. I went back down to the waiting room and waited for the doctor to tell me what I was going to do next. They came out and told me that the results would come later on that evening and that I was to go home. I wasn't very happy about this because I really wanted to get to the bottom of this mystery. And furthermore, I didn't want to have them take out the IV needle only to put it back in later on if I needed surgery. Their current working theory was that I was going to have appendicitis. But nonetheless, the nurse came and took out my IV needle and sent me on my way. What would follow was the most painful 3 hours of my life, waiting and praying for the doctor to call and tell me what happens next. So they told me to fast because if I was going to have surgery for my appendix, I should not have much food in my stomach because the anesthetics cause you to have nausea after the surgery. So I was sitting in my home with my parents, waiting for the phone to ring, starving and scared. And it was about 3 hours later, and they hadn't called. I decided finally, you know what, I'm just going to call them and figure this out because I cannot wait any longer. So I call them, and the nurse says, "Oh, I'll call you right back, I'm going to get your file, and I'll tell you what's going on." So, 5-10 minutes more pass, and the phone rings, and the nurse says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Myers, I can't really tell you anything about the results of your test due to doctor-patient confidentiality. But I can tell you that you can eat, and you should call back on Monday to get your test results." Great, so I'm about to die, but I've got the whole weekend to think about it and eat. So I go to sleep that night and pray for Monday when I get to call the doctor and figure out just how I'm going to die. I wake up at 11 o'clock the next day and my dad walks upstairs and tells me, "Yeah, the doctor called and he said that you're not going to die, you're fine. Except for you have a blockage in your intestine." So the long and short of the story is that I went home for 3 days, missed the weekend, got injected, radiated, and all kinds of crazy tests done to find out that I need to chew my food. I'll see you later.